What's happening, people? I hope you're all well. So this is a boxing report and a bit of a catch up, to be fair, because I have been quite busy and I haven't made the videos that I'd want to make. So this is going to be a catch up, and I'm going to start with Josh Kelly. Josh Kelly got the win on the undercard of Gorman Salek, and he got a comeback win against a guy called Peter Kramer, who had a record of 12-5-3. It was very clearly just a comeback fight, and he got the win, no problem. He got the win in the 4th round. He looked very good doing it, although he did get a cut, which is apparently reoccurring, so something he needs to watch out for. And he's now campaigning at super welterweight, and let's see how he gets on, because he's got some flashy combinations. He punches fast. He's a good range fighter. He's got a little bit of power. So there's some stuff to like about Josh Kelly. Maybe even get the David Avanizian rematch, because it's not like Avanizian's getting loads of opponents, is it? So let's see what happens. I know he's gone up from 147 to 154, so maybe he's not going to look for that rematch, but Josh Kelly gets the win and he moves on. So let's see what happens with Josh Kelly. The next thing I want to talk about is Artur Beterbiev versus Joe Smith Jr. Artur Beterbiev gets an early win. And Artur Beterbiev, a favourite, a guy who probably is expected to beat Joe Smith Jr. But at the same time, Joe Smith Jr. can punch. Artur Beterbiev is vulnerable. He got hurt against Callum Johnson. He looked vulnerable in that fight. I'm not going to say he's got a terrible chin, but he definitely was hurt in that fight. He went down in that fight. So going up against a puncher like Joe Smith Jr., you're thinking, what if Joe Smith Jr. catches him? But, I think Joe Smith Jr. was on the floor multiple times in that fight. It doesn't say here on BoxRec how many times he was down, and I can't remember the exact amount, but he was hurt multiple times in that fight. Artur Beterbiev apparently fighting Anthony Yarde. I'd make Artur Beterbiev a heavy favourite, but again, Artur Beterbiev can be hurt and Anthony Yarde can punch. So, it's not a fight that's like, it's just going to be, there is an element of, what could happen here if Anthony Yarde gets his punches off. So, it's a fight I'd watch, but I'd rather see Beterbiev versus Bivol. So that's the fight that I'd really want to see. And I think that the power that Beterbiev showed in this fight just shows you that Canelo was not put in with Beterbiev, but was in fact put in with Bivol. Because Bivol might win on points, which he did, but the danger from Beterbiev was more with regards to punch power. So I think that's why Canelo fought Bivol and not Beterbiev. Next is Peter Kadiru. Peter Kadiru got a win against, let me pull that back up. Peter Kadiru, he got a win against a guy called Tayfun, and that was last weekend, and he got that by a 3rd round corner retirement. Kadiru 14-0, 7 KOs, not the biggest puncher, but has got some skills, beat Daniel Dubois in the amateurs, now needs to step up. So maybe looking at Christian Hammer, Gerald Washington, someone like that, even Kamil Sokolowski, or a tough journeyman. I just want to see him step up now, because he's 24 years old, he can make that step up, and let's see where he goes. There's some things to like about Peter Kadiru. Next is, let's have a look, Joe Joyce. Joe Joyce is going to be fighting Christian Hammer, and that's going to be taking place on the 2nd of July, so that's reasonably soon. And I think that Christian Hammer at this point, being a journeyman type of opponent, or like a gatekeeper type of opponent, stepping in and fighting people who are up and coming a lot of the time and losing those fights, you'd make Joe Joyce a heavy favourite in that fight. A heavy favourite. So I'm expecting Joe Joyce to get the win. I'm expecting Joe Joyce to perhaps get a knockout victory, and I'm expecting Joe Joyce to move on from that. And go on and look to fight. I heard he's apparently looking for the Fury fight. I'd make Fury a favourite in that fight, but Joe Joyce is a good challenge for Tyson Fury, and it's not a fight that Joe Joyce has no chance in. So Joe Joyce is going to be fighting Christian Hammer. It's going to be happening on the 2nd of July, and I expect Joe Joyce to come through that pretty easily. Ivan Dychko is going to be fighting this weekend on an Argentinian card, and he's going to be fighting a guy called Nicolas Espindola. I've not heard of that guy before, but Ivan Dychko is 31 years old. He's 11-0, 11 KOs. He gets the KOs quite early, but being a pro since 2017, that's like around 5 years, he's not really had a step up. So I'd like to see him win this fight, win it well. Now a quick look at this Espinosa guy's record: 7 wins, 2 by KO, 3 losses, 0 not been knocked out before. All his fights in Argentina. I'm expecting really, Ivan Dychko should be knocking this guy out. Let me see who his losses are against. He's lost to people who have had multiple losses, so really Ivan Dychko should be knocking this guy out. Jarrell Miller's going to be on that card, coming back from a drug ban. Jarrell Miller was supposed to be coming back, I believe, against either Carlos Takam or Jerry Forrest. I think it was Jerry Forrest, to be fair. But then he got popped for drugs again. Had another ban, so he hasn't fought since 2018. That fight was against Bogdan Dinu, but he has been looking pretty big, so he's still got the size. Has he got the engine? Let's find out. Jarrell Miller, he's going to be fighting Ariel Esteban Bracamonte, a guy who gives these prospects tests. Bracamonte got stopped by David Allen in 7. He got stopped by Leonardo Daniel Rabuti in 1. I don't know who that guy is. He went the distance though with Romanov. He went the distance with... he got stopped by a heavyweight called Raphael Tronchet in France. Unbeaten French heavyweight. And he went the distance with Dempsey McKean in his last fight. So, really I'm expecting... Jarrell Miller to go in there and win, but there's a lot of unknowns about how Jarrell Miller is going to perform, and that's why I want to watch it. I want to see how Jarrell Miller performs if he's off the drugs, how that's going to impact his performance, because you'd suspect he's not going to be quite as good, but let's see how good he is, without the benefit of performance enhancing drugs, if indeed he is off the performance enhancing drugs. Let's see how that goes. So that's my boxing catch up or boxing report for this week. If there's anything that I've missed that interests you, let me know, because I want to know what's going on as well in boxing all the time. I want to know what's going on. And also I've got a fight coming up. I box as well, so I've been preparing for that. If you're in a reasonable area, make sure you come down and watch the fight. And I think that's pretty much it for this video. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, hit the notification bell so you get a notification when I make a new video, and I'll see you on the next video. What's happening? I'm happy to announce I'm going to be fighting on the Big Energy Show on the 9th of July in Romford, Essex. It's going to be a great fight. Make sure you get yourself a ticket. You can get a ticket by calling or texting me or sending me a message on Instagram. The link for those are in the description. It's going to be a great fight. I'll see you at the fight, and I'll catch you in a bit.